Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, see kind of what's going on, big picture, help you understand what's going to happen next, and kind of explain some of these candlesticks here that we're seeing. Now, if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I really just love teaching people how to trade. I certainly hope you can learn something here today. My goal and my passion is to become a better trader with you, help you become a better trader, essentially. Been trading for over 15 years, and I just really like helping people getting to better places. More financial independence, retire early, right? And I can tell you that this is my full-time job. I do this every day for a living, and it's an amazing experience, and I look forward to working with you if you want to consider becoming a community member. We have over 300 members currently. Link in the description below, CryptoCache.tech. Now, looking here at Bitcoin, let's go ahead and state the obvious, okay? First things first, we are rejecting off the 200-day SMA. Okay, so that's creating somewhat of a resistance shelf. So just say 48,000 essentially is a key level resistance for the moment. We have a previous support / resistance level at 46,000. That's likely going to hold as the most immediate support level. If we lose that, we can come all the way down to 44,500 as a rough estimate. That is essentially a support channel here though, because that was previously a resistance channel. All right, so kind of have that little flip, if you will. But keep in mind there is a CMA gap. We can cover this again later. That could likely get filled eventually between 44,500 and 46, because it just gapped right up essentially, and that causes that to happen sometimes. Anyways, those typically fill eventually, and I'll cover that at a later date. Not something we need to be super concerned with now because we're expecting the price to pull back anyways. So if it were to fill that gap, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It'd actually be a good thing to kind of give us that foundation of volume close to the previous resistance, the current essential support. All right, so that support channel of 44,500 to 46,000 is definitely good. We want to see that continue to hold, and we'll likely get that tested here in the near future. And when I say likely, it's just, we've got a few different candles here forming. First of all, we've got this inverted hammer. They call it a hanging man, where it's typically, the price typically falls after that because it's more of a bearish type of hammer. And the reason why it's bearish is because it's following a bunch of increases. It also is following these morning star patterns, or shooting star patterns rather, and those have a tendency of foreseeing a turnaround because the fact that, that the price is closing closer to the original open. It's almost a gravestone pattern, and those have a tendency of just full-on reversing, because what that does is that tells you that the price traveled to the highest point, which is the resistance, and all the way back down in that same day, and effectively closed very close to its original open. And that's usually not a good sign of strength. All right, again, just something to be mindful of. So these are not 100%, but those candles in a row do increase the likelihood of a pullback. And we can see there was an attempt last night, essentially, when this candlestick opened down to 46,400. So we almost hit 46 initially there. So how much lower will it go? Hard to say. We need to get there, of course, but just generally speaking, that's kind of where we're at there for the moment. Volume is not super strong right now, which is kind of good in a sense, because kind of building just more of a foundation of volume at this current price point. Because if you look in the most recent past, we don't have a lot of volume at this current price point. Obviously, a tremendous amount at 39,000. That's a very strong support level. And of course, if we zoom out a little bit further, you can see there is volume here, right? Because once again, 46,000 is a strong support level, and that channel there will essentially hold. That's the main reason why I believe, and many others feel, that 46,000 should be the most relevant bottom, at least in regard to a worst case scenario. Obviously, worst case scenario can go down, don't get me wrong, but I think that if we were to see a correction, it shouldn't go much further than the 44,500. We may see a candle wick, perhaps, but generally speaking, we're looking pretty good here in the sense of the volume, which again is something to be acknowledged, or just something we have to acknowledge. We also have a potential here, and I'm not trying to reach for straws here, but there is potential pennant type of pattern, potential breakout to the upside if we consolidate more at the resistance level of 48,000. With more volume at this price point of 47, that could build a foundation of volume there and allow it to increase. Once again, a little too early to tell, but it's not looking terrible. I just want you to know that. Bitcoin is not in dire straits by any means. But let's go ahead and take a look at the things that are perhaps adverse, right? Because there's a lot of different factors you gotta want to look at, and the 4-hour time frame helps us understand a lot. And we can kind of see already, just to clarify, we're holding this trend line very nice. Okay, so heaven forbid the price were to come down and test 46. It could work out something like this. It could even work out here. We get this weird little candle wick and then right back up. There's a lot of different possible scenarios, but I think the likelihood of it continuing sideways at 46 and or 45 is a realistic estimate. And until we break this trend, we're likely to see it continue higher. Okay, so it's pretty much just an inevitability that we'll be at 49,000, by the time we get to first week of April. So I would say within the next 10 days, I know it's kind of a loose estimate, but we should and could expect to see the price break to the upside within that time frame. But it might do some funny stuff between now and then, just because, again, it's overextended and it spent, a lot of time at this higher price point with less volume. All right, anyway, so enough about that. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about, let's take a look at TD sequential rather. And this is just something to kind of help you understand, because I opened a short position recently, and it kind of concerned us, so we closed our position. But generally speaking, the concept is sound. In other words, the likelihood of turnaround is very high. Again, just a short-term turnaround, because we hit a 9 on TD sequential, and it continued just for an extra 12 to 24 hours. So it continued to push, kind of got greedy for lack of better terms, and now it's continuing sideways and down. So we're at a 5 right now. The likelihood of seeing another 20 hours of bearish divergence is very high. Will it be a significant, sharp decrease in price? I don't believe so. I think we have a lot of buying pressure, a lot of potential to hold the price action in place. We saw that with this candlestick here. It definitely tried, but it turned right back around. So again, I think that the selling pressure is just going to be slow and steady, and it's not going to be an immediate jarring knee-jerk reaction unless there's some crazy fundamental catalyst that we do not anticipate that happens. There's that as well. But on a traditional technical analysis, just say, TA, all fundamentals aside, we should expect a slow continuation of the downside. I would say to 46 is a close approximate, possibly a little bit lower, and then, just continue to accumulate at that price point, and then a very strong likelihood of a potential leg up from there to break 48,000 and start approaching 49, 50, 51, etc. Okay, so again, really, all in all, decent stuff here. I like the RSI is coming down too on the 4 hour. That's necessary. What would be ideal is for it to happen again, to kind of effectively bounce off 50 on the RSI and get that next leg up, that push. We do need a little bit more time there, right? Another 20 hours could do the trick. So the price comes down to 20, or just say comes down in 20 hours and bounces off 50 on the RSI, then we could effectively see an increase like we saw before. There's a strong chance of that, because again, we're in a bullish continuation type of pattern, and until it breaks that pattern, we are essentially in good shape. All right. So again, nothing to worry about. Sky is not falling. We just got, morning stars and or shooting stars. I don't know what they're called. And it's anyways, you get the drift, right? So not terrible by any stretch. Taking a look at the 1 hour here, we can kind of see that we've got a bearish divergence, of course, continuing as we've already identified. This run has been 8 hours in a row where the price is continuing to progress lower. Big surprise, I think we're probably due for another 20, as I mentioned before, to fill that 9 hour, or sorry, that 9 on TD sequential for the 4 hour. I think that's likely. Minus that, let's see, not much else to really note. If you look at Ichimoku Cloud, you can kind of say it doesn't really tell us we'll have a buy signal or a sell signal. We're still within the cloud. So until we break below the cloud, we're not considered to be bearish on the short term. And when I say bearish, I just mean that, the indication is going to tell us, hey, if we break below the cloud and the other factors are present, then we might want to consider a short position. That is not likely the case, though. I would exercise caution doing a short unless it's a tight short, which is what we tried to do recently. And I can tell you that, if you have really tight profit targets, it's all well and good, but I wouldn't expect a short, I wouldn't expect to fulfill a short. It's not the right environment at this point for it, if that makes any sense. You're better off adding to your position as the price goes down, dollar cost averaging, or setting multiple entries. Like we have an entry at 47 and 46, and our profit target is to the upside. So kind of anticipate the fact that the price will probably bounce off 46 or the like very soon. Okay. So all in all, not bad stuff. Honestly, Bitcoin's still in great shape. I'm not concerned at all. I would like to help you understand that this is not a bad thing. Sideways action is good. If we come back down further, it'll be perfectly fine. Allow us to get filled at a lower price point and average our price, our essential price down and or up, depending on how you look at it. All right, so again, all good stuff here in that sense. So Bitcoin's in good shape. I hope that you found benefit here today. If you do, comment below, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And obviously, if you're not currently a community member, CryptoCache.tech is the site. Link in the description below. I look forward to working with you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.